Sarah Ferguson is probably one of the most confusing members of the royal family. She still lives with her ex-husband Prince Andrew on his royal property, and her fair share of scandals banned her from attending official events. Her relationship with the royal family is very complicated, but apparently she's the Queen's favorite. Why did she want to sell information about the royals to the media? Will Fergie and Prince Andrew get married again? Stay with me to find out the secrets of the rocky relationship this rebellious Duchess has with the royal family. But first, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be up to date with our videos and turn on the notifications. Do you remember how back in the day, Prince Harry was called the black sheep of the royal family? Well, he's not the only redhead among the royals who likes to do things his own way. Sarah Ferguson, who's also nicknamed Fergie, has always stood out from the family. Before the younger generation took the spotlight, she has always had an adventurous spirit, and that's why she won the heart of the Queen's alleged favorite child, Prince Andrew. Just like with Princess Diana, and now with Meghan, Sarah was ruthlessly attacked by the press, but she has never crumbled under the spotlight. She did quite the opposite. She loved it, and sometimes she was even too eager to cooperate with journalists. By the way, Fergie and Diana were best friends, or even like sisters. The Duchess of York is still very close to her ex-husband, despite all the scandals and infidelities surrounding their divorce, and she still supported him through the Epstein controversy. There are even rumors that she had contact with him. Let's have a quick look at the backstory of the rebellious Duchess, because her life sure was colorful. Sarah Ferguson was born in London on October 15, 1959. Her parents were quite wealthy, so she enjoyed a fancy upbringing, including private schools, horse riding lessons, and even had a group of friends that included members of the royal family. One of her childhood friends was Lady Diana Spencer. The two were actually fourth cousins, and their mothers were also school best friends. When Sarah was 16, her parents divorced. Her mother remarried an Argentinian man and moved to South America, leaving her daughters behind in England at their father's estate. That's probably why Fergie is such a caring mother to her own daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. She doesn't want them to feel as if they don't matter, or that something is more important to her. Speaking of that, Fergie actually is that embarrassing Facebook mom. It's just that she's active on Instagram and Twitter. She's actually one of those few royals who have their own Instagram accounts, and she gives her 500,000 followers a very unexpected and candid insight into her life and the life of the York family. She posts those motivational quotes on colorful backgrounds, and throwback pictures of her ex-husband in his heartthrob mode, and sentimental family photos with captions in cursive fonts. Does that behavior sound familiar? Are your moms like that online? Fergie has always been a popular girl and was known as courageous, bubbly, and outgoing. Even though she didn't do well academically, Sarah was a talented swimmer and tennis player. Her love for sports and adventure would take her quite far when she became a member of the royal family. Unlike Princess Diana, who was kept in a cage for a prince, Fergie lived her best life in her late teens and early 20s. Before Prince Andrew, she had two serious boyfriends, Kim Smith Bingham, who was a stockbroker, and Paddy McNally, a motor racing manager who was 22 years older than her. She sure had fun. How did Sarah find her way to the royal family and to Andrew's heart? It was all thanks to Princess Diana. So Lady Di managed to convince the Queen to invite Fergie to one of her dine and sleep events during Royal Ascot Week. At dinner, the future Duchess of York was seated next to Prince Charles' younger brother, Andrew. They'd met before, but that was the first time a romantic connection sparked between them, and they started to date. Here's the first time Sarah caused some controversy. When Prince Andrew proposed, she was 27 years old, and she wasn't about to let her single days go away just like that. Fergie was actually the first female member of the royal family to have a bachelorette party. Her friends, including Lady Di, caused a scene outside Buckingham Palace by dressing as policewomen. Then, Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew got married on July 23, 1986 at London's Westminster Abbey. Even though Fergie was bold and outspoken, the royal family adored the Duchess of York from the start. What did the Queen think of her? In the early years, they were surprisingly close. Some actually say that the monarch liked Fergie better than Diana. Apparently, they had a lot in common and got along with ease. In her autobiography, Sarah wrote that in private, she called the Queen Mama, and she felt favored when Elizabeth waved her to sit next to her in the car or in church. But then things slowly started going downhill, and in 1988, she started falling out of favor with the public. Together with Andrew, Sarah took a trip to California, and although there weren't many details about the couple's tour, the British newspapers wrote that the trip was a vulgar, excessive exhibition by two royals. The damage was already done. Although the Duchess of York was always reprimanded for her carefree and fun attitude, her personality is what brought the family into modern times and allowed the royals to be seen as human beings. I said that Fergie was also under a lot of scrutiny from the papers. One of the famous instances was when during her second pregnancy she gained quite a bit of weight, which, by the way, is normal, but the press disgustingly labeled her the Duchess of Pork. I'm sure that the body shaming was extremely hurtful, but Sarah didn't let it get to her. Instead, she decided to go with it, and with the help of her charismatic personality, she joined forces with the US company Weight Watchers and became their spokesperson. In 1992, Prince Andrew and Sarah's marriage broke down in front of the world. The sugar-coated reason for the separation was that Fergie felt lonely and couldn't handle her husband's naval officer duties because he was away from home a lot. But in reality, there were rumors of infidelity on both sides. And, well, Andrew spent a lot of time with his friend Jeffrey Epstein, and we know the story behind that. When they announced their separation, Fergie had a scandal of her own, which basically closed the door to being near the royal family. So, about 5 months into their separation, Fergie was photographed on vacation with her new man, oil tycoon John Bryan. In some of the pictures, she was topless, and in others, her toes were in Bryan's mouth. Yes, you heard it right. No one warned the royals that the photos were going to be published. So they found out about the whole thing over breakfast while reading the morning newspapers. That must have been a great start of the day. Because of the separation, the pending divorce, and the scandalous photos, Sarah Ferguson wasn't welcome to the royal family anymore. The palace announced that she wouldn't be carrying out public engagements, and the Queen released a statement saying that she didn't take responsibility for Fergie's debts. And those were huge. The whole family turned their backs on her, including Prince Philip, who couldn't even stand to be in the same building as Sarah. He made an exception for Princess Eugenie's wedding, though. Andrew and Sarah finalized their divorce in 1996, although she stayed at their home at Royal Lodge, but was living in separate quarters. Using her name, the Duchess made some new friends in the Hollywood elite. She became good pals with Larry King, and appeared on The View, The Today Show, and even had a miniseries on Oprah's own network. Fergie also became an author, writing children's books and an autobiography. Unfortunately, in the book, she threw some shade at Princess Diana, even though she promised she wouldn't. As a result, the women fell out and never reconciled before the princess' death in 1997. I said that Sarah had some massive debts, which of course brought her more scandals. She actually admitted that she had little understanding of money thanks to her lavish life as a member of the royal family. That's probably why she decided to get those jobs in Hollywood, as her divorce settlement was small. Despite her best intentions, the financial trouble continued into the 2000s. When her husband's ties to Jeffrey Epstein became public, her involvement with that man also surfaced. It's that Ferguson accepted $18,000 from Epstein to help restructure her debts. After The Telegraph brought the issue to light in 2011, Sarah admitted that Andrew arranged it, and she called it a gigantic error of judgment. Was it really that? Because in 2010, she was in massive debt again, and she was caught by an undercover journalist who offered her $500,000 for access to the royal family. Fergie was caught on camera taking $40,000 in cash as a down payment. She released a statement saying that she was sincerely sorry, but she had problems with her finances. This scandal turned the royal family against her even more. It was so bad that Fergie wasn't even invited to Prince William's wedding in 2011. Instead, she jetted off to a spa in Thailand. She was also excluded from the family celebrations, and when her daughters would spend Christmas with the whole royal family, she was alone at home. Things started to change though. And her invitation to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding had been a sign that she's at least partially back among the royals. A source said that Harry knows what it's like to be branded the black sheep of the family, and he's more compassionate than the other royals, so he believes that Fergie deserves another chance. What's more, there's another sign that the Duchess has been accepted back to the family. She was also invited to stay with the royals during their annual trip to Balmoral Castle in Scotland. A source told Vanity Fair that Sarah wasn't invited for years after she and Prince Andrew separated, but now she's back. She's gone there at least a couple of years, but she's not there when Prince Philip is in residence. He really must not like her. There have actually been rumors that Sarah and Prince Andrew might get married again. Even though they've been divorced for more than 20 years, they still live together at Royal Lodge and sometimes act very much as a couple. Fergie even said in 2016 that they never really left each other and that they're soulmates. As their daughter Princess Eugenie said, they're the best divorced couple she knew. And now that Prince Andrew moved down in the line of succession, he wouldn't have to ask the Queen for permission. Do you think they would do it? Some couples are just better when they know they aren't formally tied to each other. And it seems that Sarah and Prince Andrew are a perfect match. Both had public scandals and are in exile from the royal family. What do you think of Sarah Ferguson? Is she the most entertaining royal? Or maybe she only made the family look bad? Let's talk about it in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, share the video with your friends. See you.